I am genuinely amazed at how consistently bad Carolyn Leavitt is at her job. Her entire role is to spread misinformation, and somehow she still manages to fail at it spectacularly. I'd almost be impressed if it weren't so exhausting to watch, but as always, the truth catches up to her. Today, we saw that happen in real time as she completely unraveled after being hit with a major lawsuit that's exposing one of the Trump administration's biggest schemes. We'll break it all down, but before we do, please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps support the show. Now, before we dive into that clip of Carolyn Leavitt's meltdown over the lawsuit, let's start with the other thing that has her panicking today. It's election day, and she's absolutely terrified of Gavin Newsom.
Sure. Caroline, the president posted on Truth Social that the voting underway in California is, quote, rigged. What evidence does he have of that, and what does it mean that mail-in ballots in that state are under legal and criminal review? By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
By rigged?
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law. Stephen.
The election in California isn't rigged against Donald Trump. People there simply can't stand him. In fact, voters across the entire country have grown tired of his chaos, and he's about to face some major defeats. It's not just because of Proposition 50, but also because of candidates like Mickey Sherrill, Zohran Mamdani, and Abigail Spanberger, strong leaders who are ready to take on Trump's agenda head-on. Even Trump himself admitted this morning on Truth Social that Democrats are locked and loaded, prepared not only to win tonight, but to completely crush him in the midterms. Naturally, that's why Carolyn Leavitt is scrambling to spread doubt about the California elections, especially now that Gavin Newsom is directly calling out Trump's attempts to manipulate the system. And there's nothing Trump despises more than Newsom exposing just how weak, frail, and cognitively declining he's become. Something Trump accidentally showed the whole world when he was asked about a recent pardon. When Carolyn Leavitt was pressed on Trump's apparent memory lapse regarding CZ, the Binance founder he pardoned, her response did not go over well.
Question. President Trump said to CBS in the 60 Minutes interview that he did not know the Binance founder, which he pardoned. What exactly did he mean for that? I know it caused.
He means he does not know him personally. He means he does not have a personal relationship with this individual. And when it comes to pardons, the White House takes them with the utmost seriousness, and the president understands the responsibility that he has as president to issue clemency and issue pardons to individuals who are seeking that. That's why we have a very thorough review process here that moves with the Department of Justice and the White House counsel's office. There's a whole team of qualified lawyers who look at every single pardon request that ultimately make their way up to the President of the United States. He's the ultimate final decision maker, and he was very clear when he came into office that he was most interested in looking at pardoning individuals who were abused and used by the Biden Department of Justice and were over-prosecuted by a weaponized DOJ. And the individual you're referring to, that was certainly the case. Even the judge in his case said that the sentencing that the Biden administration was asking for was egregious and went too far. And so the president is correcting that wrong, and he has officially ended the Biden administration's war on the cryptocurrency industry, and I think that's the message he sent with this pardon.
There is absolutely no world in which Donald Trump's excuse makes sense. He didn't say he wasn't personally friends with CZ. He flat out claimed he had no idea who the man was, no clue about the pardon, and no knowledge of the crimes involved. His only response was the usual Biden witch hunt. It's absurd. And Karolineleavitt can't keep spinning this to hide the truth. Trump is clearly in cognitive decline. For months, Leavitt has screamed about auto-pen Biden and questioned President Biden's awareness, yet now it's Trump who seems completely detached from reality, dependent on his team to prop him up while he lashes out at everyone else. And when she was pressed about a lawsuit filed against the administration, one of many demanding that Trump finally release the billions of dollars Congress approved for SNAP and food assistance, Karolineleavitt completely fell apart.
Thanks so much, Caroline. Can you help clear up some confusion about SNAP benefits? Because the president just posted that they will only be given out when the radical left Democrats open the government and not before. But just yesterday, the administration said it would comply with a court order to expend the full amount of SNAP contingency funds by end of business day yesterday. So did the administration distribute that money or defy that court order?
No, the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future, and that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment in the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP, but it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP beneficiary at home who needs that assistance, and the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government.
Let's rewind for a moment to this time last year, when Donald Trump boldly promised that he would make groceries more affordable than ever. He claimed he'd not only stop inflation from driving up prices, but actually lower them. Instead, the opposite has happened. Costs have skyrocketed, and the situation has become worse for working families. This administration has deliberately chosen policies that hurt ordinary people, particularly those struggling to put food on the table. Now, Trump actually needs a court order just to ensure people are fed. That's how far things have gone. He is breaking the law to withhold food assistance from families and children. Trump's law-breaking isn't new. Sometimes it's about clinging to power. Other times, it's about targeting political enemies or marginalized communities. But this, breaking the law to starve children, reveals just how cruel and chaotic his leadership has become. And make no mistake, the people around him aren't any better. Figures like Russ and Stephen Miller aren't interested in helping anyone. They want to tear down the system entirely. Meanwhile, Trump himself seems increasingly unaware of what's even happening under his own administration. Doctors are raising concerns about the credibility of his health reports, and when Karolineleavitt was pressed about his condition, she couldn't even give a straight answer, as you'll see right here.
Why did President Trump get an MRI during his recent visit to Wall Street?
Look, as President Trump said, he would inquire with the physicians. I'll check back on that. But as the physical itself stated, Kristen, and as you all know, because you are all witness to it, every single day the president is in optimal physical health. This was a follow-up appointment, and we provided a detailed readout of that physical. I'm happy to give it to you again, and I can inquire further.
With all due respect, an MRI is a very specific procedure. It's done on a part of the body looking for something specific, so it's not generally part of any kind of routine checkup. And in addition, President Trump has said that he wants to be transparent. He told us to ask the doctors, which we have and have not heard back. Why don't we have more information on this?
As I said, I'll check back for you.
Donald Trump is clearly deteriorating, both mentally and physically. And no amount of stage photo ops or glowing press releases from the White House can change that reality. They can keep insisting that President Trump is strong and healthy. But the truth is plain to see. This is why it's more important than ever for Democrats to emphasize just how weak and ineffective he has become. And to counter that weakness by delivering bold, meaningful change for the American people. We have a real opportunity to do that this election day, not just in states like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, but in California too. And speaking of California, the contrast couldn't be sharper. While Trump struggles to even appear coherent, Governor Gavin Newsom has been out there showing strength, energy, and leadership. If you're in California, or even if you're not, you need to hear what he had to say about Proposition 50 and why this election should set the gold standard for how Democrats fight and win. Take a listen to Governor Newsom.
So here we are. Here we are. Days away from this historic election. Days away from sending a message. And a year from now, what this is all about is Democrats getting back on our toes, not our heels, getting our mojo back. I mean, I don't know what happened to us last few months. You know, everybody all, hand wringing and all this. But we're back. The biggest story, you know it. You all know this. I cannot wait for November 5th, November 6th, and all the punditry. Historic victories all across the United States of America. Proposition 50 winning by double digits. A new governor in New Jersey, a new governor in Virginia. Democrats back, united, standing tall and firm for health care. Standing tall to our diverse communities, standing tall for the founding fathers. That's what this election is all about. So I just want to thank you. I mean this, just thank you. I'll end as I began. Thank you for giving a damn.
This is the kind of energy we need right now. I'm fired up, and I hope you are too. Across the country, Democrats, ballot initiatives, and judicial candidates representing a wide range of progressive ideas are on track for major wins. Today's results will expand the Democratic tent, strengthen our movement heading into the midterms, and reward those who have stayed committed to fighting this corrupt regime. We have real momentum, and we need to keep it going. If you want to help support that mission, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart machine gun in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.